The grand hall of Viakath shimmered like a living nebula. Golden arcs floated in midair, forming patterns that reassembled themselves every few seconds, as if the room had a heartbeat of its own. The wealthiest and most powerful families of the sector had gathered for a single reason. The heiress of the Ellerin Dominion was being pressured to choose her mate tonight. Sarah stood at the center of the hall, a calm figure wrapped in silver ceremonial armor that glittered like frozen starlight. Her emerald eyes scanned the hall with quiet irritation. She was known not just for her beauty, but for her mind sharp enough to outthink half the Dominion's strategic council. And yet tonight, none of that mattered. Her uncle, the regent, had placed a decree. She must choose a mate to secure political stability. Sarah despised the idea. On the far side of the hall stood Jack, the lone human guest. He was a technician invited by accident more than intention who had repaired a failing star drive on an Ellerin cruiser 2 weeks ago. Someone had mistakenly classified him as a strategic consultant, and the next thing he knew, he received a ceremonial invitation. Jack felt extremely out of place among towering nobles with crystalline horns and robes woven from nebula threads. His simple black suit felt almost insulting in comparison. He kept to himself, analyzing the alien tech embedded in the walls while trying not to attract attention. He failed, because Sarah had already noticed him. She noticed how he moved quietly, respectfully, and like the arrogant nobles vying for her attention. She noticed the way he observed every detail, the way his hands betrayed a subtle readiness, as if he could fix the entire palace if needed. He was different, and different, to Sarah, meant interesting. The regent stepped forward and raised his staff. "Heiress Sarah," he announced, voice booming through the hall. "The time has come. Choose a mate to strengthen the Dominion's legacy." Every noble straightened. Some puffed up their chests, others bowed dramatically. A few even activated their biocrystal implants to glow more impressively. Jack stepped back instinctively, not wanting to accidentally get picked in some alien ritual. But Sarah lifted her chin and said nothing. She could feel the invisible chains of expectation tightening around her. Choose power, choose convenience. But she refused to be an ornament attached to a political agenda. Her eyes drifted toward Jack, a human, from Earth, considered by the Dominion as a younger species, clever, unpredictable, and annoyingly persistent. Yet Sarah remembered his voice during their brief encounter aboard the cruiser. Steady, honest, uncalculated. Someone who spoke to her like she was a person, not a princess. Jack caught her gaze and froze. "Please don't pick me," he thought. "Please don't." Sarah raised her arm and pointed directly at him. A ripple of shock tore through the hall, gasps, whispers, disbelief. The regent nearly dropped his staff. "Sarah, surely you jest." "I do not," she said coolly. "I choose him." Jack's brain shut down for a full 3 seconds. "Me," he croaked aloud, which made several nobles flinch as if he had spoken in some forbidden tongue. Sarah walked toward him with graceful, confident steps. "Jack," she said, "step forward." His legs moved before his mind agreed to. I think there's been a misunderstanding," he whispered. "I'm just a technician. I fix things. Small things. Very small things. That is precisely what this Dominion needs," Sarah replied. "Someone who fixes what others ignore." Her voice carried a double meaning. The regent tried again. "He is human, a species not even part of our bloodline treaties." "Perhaps our treaties need evolution," Sarah said sharply. The hall erupted. Nobles protested, shouted, argued. A few even tried to approach Jack, but Sarah's personal guard stepped between them like a living wall of obsidian armor. Jack raised his hands awkwardly. "Listen, I don't want to cause political, galaxy-wide problems. Maybe choose someone else, someone with horns." Sarah simply smiled. "I choose who I wish, and I will not be pressured into binding myself to any of these preening aristocrats." Jack blinked. "So, why me?" Sarah tilted her head. "Because you don't look at me like they do. Because you treat people like they matter. And because in a room full of people chasing power, you are the only one who seems grounded in reality." Jack swallowed hard. "Honored," he said. "But are you sure?" Suddenly the hall trembled. A blinding pulse exploded through the windows, followed by a structural groan that silenced every voice. The alarms blared. A Dominion guard sprinted in. "Heiress, Regent, a rebel fleet has entered orbit. They've breached outer defenses." Panic swept the hall. Sarah reacted instantly. "Evacuate the civilians. Lock down the palace." She grabbed Jack's wrist. "Come with me." "Ye are rebels, a normal thing around here?" Jack asked as they ran. "Only when someone wants to disrupt the succession," Sarah replied grimly. They reached the command chamber, an enormous circular room lit with holographic star maps. Officers scrambled, shouting updates. For rebel frigates approaching, power signatures rising, shields weakening, hull integrity dropping. Sarah stepped onto the command platform. Patch me into the defense grid. Jack watched the chaos with growing anxiety. He wasn't a soldier. He was a problem solver. A technician. A broken console caught his eye sparking. He hurried over, instinct kicking in. He yanked off the panel, rewired a damaged conduit, reconnected a power loop that someone had overloaded, and jumped back as the whole system hummed to life. Defense array is stabilizing. An officer shouted. Who fixed that? Sarah gave Jack a grateful look. You continue to surprise me, he shrugged. I tinker. Good, tinker more. We need every edge. The rebel fleet fired a massive plasma lance, but the newly restored defense grid interceptors lit up, absorbing and deflecting the shot. Sarah issued rapid-fire commands, coordinating the counterattack with surgical precision. Within minutes, the rebels retreated, engines flickering, hulls scarred, cheers erupted across the chamber. Jack leaned against a console, exhausted. Do royal marriage ceremonies usually involve orbital warfare? Sarah stepped close, very close. Her voice softened. Only when you choose someone worth fighting for. Jack felt heat rise to his face. So, does this mean I'm actually your chosen mate? Sarah smiled, slow and luminous. It means I choose you, yes. But we will define what that means together. Her confidence, her honesty, her power, it all hit him at once. But maybe being chosen wasn't so bad after all. Outside, the nobles still argued, the regent still sputtered, and the galaxy still spun in uncertainty. But beside Sarah, Jack felt something he hadn't expected to find in a hall of alien royalty: belonging. And Sarah, for the first time, felt free.